So, you know that our faith has a concept of sins and virtues. But can sins be compensated for? Is atonement possible in our faith? Yes, because obviously not all sins have the same gravity based on context. For example, you know that our faith is about divinity, and one who can express more divinity, aka make actions, do actions that generate more change in the world, that one has the greater divine power, obviously. That's why one has to strive for divinity and strive for becoming more powerful, more successful, more skilled, richer, and so on. Resources and ability grant one ability to make more impactful actions. So, does killing of, let's take murder as a sin, killing a mosquito differ from, I don't know, killing a dog, for example? Obviously, because a dog can make more impactful actions. It can carry objects around. It can make constructions. Sometimes they do it without training, but they can do it with training. Also, their presence alone influences environments. A dog can hunt a lot of animals. A pack of dogs can eradicate certain animal species around a certain area, which will affect ecosystem. A mosquito cannot do much. Even a swarm of mosquitoes cannot do a lot to environment. So obviously, the dog has more capability of making more impactful actions than a mosquito. Obviously, a mosquito's life is less valuable than such of a dog. Therefore, the sins are not equal themselves. Killing a dog is not the same as killing a mosquito. But how can one atone for a murder of a living being? Well, the most reasonable way to atone is compensation. So if you killed something insignificant, if you committed an insignificant sin, you have to compensate it with the same or more valuable virtue. Like, let's say, if you killed an insect, like you killed a mosquito, you have to plant a flower, for example. Quite simple. It will help other insects thrive. For some, it's actually the source of food. You help some animals, some insects live. Killing a big queen bee is more impactful than killing a a mosquito. Then because it kind of dooms a bee family, a beehive. So you have to compensate for that with something more impactful. So a beehive can pollinate a lot of flowers, a few fields even. Killing a queen bee is a very heavy sin. You can compensate for it by planting a field of flowers, or planting a lot of blooming trees. It will give food to other bee families, to beehives, cause them to split, to reproduce, and increase the population in the area. But now, you probably get where it is going, and it's going to get dark. So what about beings capable of infinite good? Humans. Are some humans more valuable than the other humans? You might ask this. No, because every human is capable of education. Our ability to do things is by default unlimited. I mean, you have hands, you have a neural network capable of learning absolutely any skill, uh, and you just need certain conditions. But a mosquito, whatever condition you put it in, cannot learn anything impactful. A human can, and a human can create or eradicate huge ecosystems, a lot of lives. A human can do really much. So a human life cannot be more valuable than another human life. So don't worry about this. But let's say murder happened, murder or accidental murder, like, sometimes people accidentally kill one another. How to atone for that sin? Well, if that happens, one has to do infinite good. For example, inventing a cure for a disease that takes a lot of lives. How many doesn't really matter, because any cure saves some life, and that life might be extremely impactful on the world. You never know. That is an infinitely good action. Uh, then another question comes. Then can one do good first in order to commit evil second? I mean, like, bail themselves out in the future by doing something good in advance. No, because that is, you see, the concept of sin is when evil happens without intent. When it happens with intent, it is just blatant crime plus a sin. You just cannot atone for this. So you cannot do good in order to do evil later. It's a transaction. There's no atonement in this kind of action. But how about experiments on humans? Like, there might be some kind of cure that requires only human experiments, or some kind of technology that might, end all death in the world, but requires test subjects who are likely or certain to not survive the experiments or the trials of whatever technology that is. Um, and it made me think, like, it feels wrong, but why does it feel wrong? Well, because I don't want to be a test subject, or my kids to be test subjects. But that made me think again. Why do I not want this? Why? Because self-preservation instinct, of course. Selfishness. Yes, I care about my life more than lives of other people. That's kind of logical. Well, my life or life of those who I associate myself with, such as my offspring, obviously. But it's not beneficial for the species. So it means my opinion, my feelings are flawed. They are natural. They are the way they are meant to be. They're meant to be flawed because it's not beneficial for the species. Does it still make for ethical choice to allow sacrifices for the greater good? Ethics are about pleasing someone emotionally. They are not about benefits for the species as a whole. You know, it's it's wrong. It's just objectively wrong. It's subjectively correct, righteous, but it's objectively wrong. My feelings are wrong. They are just selfish. If I take that aside, or if I live in a world that takes it away from me, it's gonna be a better world, because maybe I would be dead, but there would be so much more infinite good, like imagine humans, inventors who live forever, who generate ideas forever, who live through eternal progress, and progress never stops. You can't just live forever and be in the same level of technology for all of the life of the universe or whatever. It's just not possible. Progress goes on, and infinitely living people will infinitely learn. Well, okay, maybe their memory is limited and they will forget things, but humans would get infinite amount of time for learning stuff, developing skills, increasing their proficiency in whatever skill they have, and experimenting. Infinite time is not finite time. It's just objectively better to, for our species to live forever. And it makes sense naturally because, well, infinite life, come on. It's kind of life, all evolution is about. Now, some people might say, what about the innate morality? Like the things that we know, that we feel are good. Well, that's instinctual because, you know, you those animals, and we are animals anyways, who prioritize their own life and life of their offspring over the greater good or whatever idea. And greater good is an idea. You don't get born with the concept of greater good or society or whatever. It comes with learning of the language, with education and indoctrination that happens with parenting. So those who prioritize themselves and their offspring leave offspring, the genes that make them predetermined to behave this way. They get to be continued in this world. It's not inner morality. It's not some kind of proof of God coding it into us. No, it's just evolution of those animals who have the genes that make them predisposed to behave selfishly. But sometimes it is good when there's, well, nearly no technology, no society, but it is the break for progress. It's like stopping us from moving further. Like it's just not the innate morality. It's just instincts. And the fact that some people, like psychopaths, they exist and they are devoid of these instincts, it proves that they are no creation of some greater God or whatever, because they are devoid of this thing and they have the human bodies. And you can't really say, let's say you're Christian or a Muslim or whatever, you can't say that they are the child of Satan. Come on, you know your scripture. Satan cannot create, only God can create. And do you think that Satan created anything? Created people devoid of the innate morality? If so, then you are a heretic in your own faith. How unfortunate. So there's just no reason to not accept this as an official part of the doctrine of the Church of Madness, of the Madness worship faith. Like, you can atone for sins by doing something good, something equally good or greater in its values than the sin. And any life must be tradable for relatably valuable noble good deeds. And someone might say, who is the judge? Like, who is the judge that the life of a mosquito equals the life of a flower, for example? Like I said before. Come on, you know that one apple is and one orange are both fun things. Fruit, uh, eaten by, I don't know, wasps and cows, uh, and the same goes for the other one. Come on, you know that if you kill a mosquito, you kill an insect, and if you plant a flower, it will feed insects, allow them to live. Yes, it equals. It equals. And if you kill a human, you kill someone who makes a great invention, who, I don't know, maybe not, maybe they're just a lazy ass, but you never know because they have the potential. You just eliminate a being that is capable of, let's say, cutting all trees on the planet. Like, it's capable of great evil, and you just destroy that person. You destroy an entity capable of very impactful action, infinitely impactful. How do you atone for this? Well, by saving lives, of course. By not just saving someone in trouble, but like making sure that some great evil is destroyed permanently. Vaccine against all kinds of flu, I don't know, vaccine against HIV that works for everyone. That could do a lot of great good. Like, if you did infinite evil, you just compensate for it by infinite good. If you take a life, you pay for this by lives, and you know it's just not reasonable to like do it an eye for an eye. No, because if you kill one person and then you kill the murderer, it's just two murders. It just makes no difference for the world, except for destroying potential. Because if you force the criminal, the sinner, to compensate for the evil by doing a good deed, then you do world a favor. You don't end up with two infinitely potentially infinitely capable beings dead. You don't end up with that, but instead you end up with, well, one person dead, yes, but the other doing something really impactful and good. It just makes sense because it leaves us with something positive. Yes, it means that one person is dead, somebody's son or husband or daughter or whatever. Yes, they are dead. They cannot be brought back. It's over, yes. But what is the good in generating more death, in acting upon vengeance? Like, why do revenge? Like, yes, it feels good to do revenge. It's reasonable because you destroy someone who has ability to bring danger again. Like, it's evolutionarily understandable. You just prevent danger before it happens again, or like you expect that it might happen again. So it's reasonable to kill someone who kills somebody dear to you or near to you. It just makes sense evolutionarily. I get it, yes. But we are still beings of great potential, great ability. Just force that criminal to make up for this to the world. They probably will never make up for this to the family, but does actually punishing a criminal with death penalty or stripping them of their freedom, like doing sin for a sin, does it do any good to the family or friends of the one who suffered from the sinful deeds of a criminal, of a sinner? No, it just pleases their expectations of revenge. It's just all that it does, punishing criminals in the way that they are stripped of their freedoms or their health or their lives or altogether. Uh, it's just not beneficial for anyone at all. It just brings emotional satisfaction, sick emotional, but evolutionarily understandable satisfaction. There's no good in it. Just force criminals to contribute to, I don't know, great goodness. Educate them, make them inventors, or force them to work on really impactful and important projects, or make them test subjects. May their lives be the fuel of progress, or like, I don't know, evolutional, economical movement forward. You get the idea, right? You get the idea. Just make good out of sin, Any sins, all sins should be subject to atonement, to compensation. It's evil to think that life doesn't have a price. Life should have a price, because if it doesn't, then what is the punishment for taking it? Infinite suffering for infinite suffering. It's not sensical. Nobody wins from this. Let's just, as a species, as civilization, let's just make every life matter, every sacrifice matter, and it matters when it has value. Let's put prices on lives. I mean, all humans should have equal price, but if an entity is capable of great good, then may they pay for their sins by doing equally or more virtuous deeds. It's just logical. So I see no reason to not implement it into the doctrine of madness worship. Let's go for it. So people, from this point onwards, we have the idea that any sin can be compensated for. Did something evil, do something good to pay for this. That's reasonable. It's extremely reasonable. You at least end up with zero negative or with positive. Because if you do punishment for misdeed, I mean, like, punishment that gives no fruit, it's just nonsensical. Do you now understand how sick it is that we put people in prisons, especially for a lifetime, or that we execute criminals, and even their organs cannot be harvested and given to those who desperately need organ transplants? I just thought about it, and I thought it's so crazy. Like, imagine there's someone who desperately needs a heart transplant, and there is a criminal who killed an innocent girl or a boy, I don't know, whatever. So instead of being the one to do some good, they will just be sentenced to lifetime of prison and die in misery, or, I don't know, depends on the nation where they are, be put to death sentence, to execution. What good does it generate? Their organs could be transplanted and given to people in need, or they might be used in experiments for cancer treatment. Why people have to die? Just, meaningless deaths. Why do they have to die meaningless deaths? Or waste their lives, waste their years. Come on, just make them useful. Do something out of them. Make them good people, or make them good resources, whatever. let's just make it that sin has a price, and the price must be paid, and the the you know the payment results in something that is beneficial to everyone, or to at least to a huge amount of people. Yeah, let's go for it.